Guys, Evans baseball cards here, and today we're going to be looking at variations from the 1980s and 1990s. As a quick disclaimer, I'm not going to be looking at any parallel sets, like 1990 Fleer Canadian, or the Leaf sets from Donruss, or the O-Pee-Chee from Topps, or anything else in that nature. So, first we're going to begin with this 1987 Sports Flicks. These cards can be found with a 86 trademark and a 87 trademark. Chances of finding those 50-50, so pretty much a normal little thing. You can just find them on eBay. 1980, now we're in the Donruss era, and you can find these cards. This is the highlights mini set. You can find this line right here, these two lines between the name. You can find it in white, and I have heard that you can find the word highlights very rarely in said white. You can find the white borders on eBay. They're usually kind of expensive. Oh, and 1986 Donruss, you can find them with the no TM variant 2, like this 87 Donruss no TM variant. And same thing about 1987 Donruss, you can find them with reverse backs for the factory set. Next up, we have 1988 Donruss. These cards can be found with smaller text and or border variants from the factory set to the normal, buy the pack set. But also what can be found between the factory and the non-factory set are the missing trademarks. You can see right there, there's a trademark, missing trademark on this one. The only cards in the set that are missing the trademarks would be the Astros, Mets, and Tigers. Another thing that can happen is in 1988 Donruss, they had team sets. And the team sets would usually have newer player cards, and some backs would say new on them. So, what would sometimes happen is you'd find one with the bigger text with a different border variant. I know there's 3 different Jose Cansecos because of that. Next up, we have 1990 Donruss. You can find border variants, apparently, let me just say that, between the wax, cello, rack, and factory set. Also, you can find on the back period, no period, but what I've pretty much always found is, well, let me say, you can also find it with a large space between the period and ick. Let me go backwards a little bit into 1989 Donruss. Here we have Grand Slammers. I've talked about these a little bit, so it's nothing new here. You can find them with different color borders, but they can also have extreme photo cropping. And another thing they can have is there'll be a black line through the top and the top and bottom. But I believe those are only in the factory set. Alright, next up, another 1989 only thing. We have all the ick and period differences on the backs. I'm not really going to show you, but you guys get the point. See how it says denotes? 1 dot for denotes, if I'll ever zoom in, because it sucks. Nope. Well, anyway, there's going to be 2 dots right where denotes is at, and 1 dot right where denotes at, and it's going to be a period or no period about that. Alright, moving on. We have 1991 Donruss. If I ever find it. There we go. So many cards. Same thing goes for 1991 Donruss. Border variants for the factory, non-factory, and period, no period. As far as I know, there's no other variants on these cards other than that, except for the Grand Slammers. It's like border variants for those, but it seems like in the 90s it's all Donruss would do. Then we have 1992 Donruss, period, no period variation. Nothing else on those aside from the preview set. Same thing goes for Leaf. Now this ended the era for Donruss to do the period, no period. So next up we're going to go into Topps, it looks like. Just in a random order here. 1992 Stadium Club Topps. These cards can be found with a print code. This one happens to be B. You can find them with A, B, C, D, And the E versions are usually blank fronts, but they have been found, but only as blank fronts. 1992 Topps Kids, they can be found with double dots in back or one dot in back. It just really doesn't really matter. 1991 Topps is a big old one. 1991 Topps can be found with the most subtle, no, not most subtle, but the most biggest difference here is the dark 40th anniversary stamp on back and the light one. These also can be found with pink numbers, and they can be found with glow-in-the-dark backs. Now, I want to say this before I stop and go to the next card. Only the dark backs can have an AB print code. If you do have an AB print code that's a dark back, that's a very hard to get card, so congratulations if you have one of those. So now we have 1987 Topps Minis. I recently just found this variant, and it's actually not listed on Beckett as far as I know. Order variants on these cards. You can see right there that the lines on the top of the card do not match up with the other one right there. It's having a really hard time focusing in, but having a tough time of the day. But the wood grain pattern changes on both of these cards. You can also find them in Tiffany versions, but it's obviously not what's going on here. Next up, another variation I found recently. It would have to be in the 1989 Topps set. On the back, basically, this Topps logo on the back moves sometimes. Like only a centimeter, but it does move sometimes, so keep your eyes out on that one if you're looking to complete a master set of that one, but I doubt you are. Now we have any Topps stickers in general. The thing about Topps stickers is they can have like a billion different backs on them, but only the 88 and 89 and 90 versions, I believe. Before that, they did not. So if you're looking to get more of those, you need to be there for a while. O-Pee-Chee, I think the same thing happens. Next up, we have any traded sets from 1991 to 1990, or reverse it. The wax pack variations actually have this normal like look to the back of them, where they're like the same kind of cardstock that would have came inside the packs of normal cards. And if you know, this is usually not the way they have it. That's a Dave Parker traded 1990 Topps. This is how it usually looks, where the back's all done up like this with better cardstock. So definitely an interesting variation right there. And that was not a Topps Tiffany, that Kevin Mitchell. It was not. That was just a regular base. Okay, 1991 Bowman. These cards can be found if they have the E print code on them. They can be found with a E double dot after it, E one dot after it, or space and then one dot after it. So, and this is just another thing, any Topps All-Star cards from this era, they can be found with double dot or one dot on the back, and with gray or premium cardboard. Okay. Now we're going into Fleer. Wait, missed something. Sorry. Period, no, double dot, one dot on those. Also, same thing goes for traded for the earlier Topps sets about the double dot and one dot. Here we have this 87 All-Star Team card, Fleer. This logo moves sometimes, so keep your eye out for that one. Alright, next up we have the difference between the factory. I believe this is the difference between the factory and the non-factory set for 1991 Fleer. Usually in the way you can tell these photo cropping, or the letters on the back here move to go off of the border, or they go into the border. But the most easiest way, if you can refine them like this, is where the lines get placed differently. I'll move this stuff aside so I can show you. Come on, zoom in. It's not going to zoom in well. The line ends at 80 angels, and the next line ends at 81 angels, so plenty of these. Also, the text can change, the placement of text can change, basically anything like that. 1991 Upper Deck. These cards can be found with hollow variants, These are the two most common ones. You can see here, this is the 1992 version holo. This is the normal 1990 one holo. This is, what is this? I can't tell, but I don't think I can catch it. But I believe this is the, yeah, this is a hockey holo, but it won't show up. That's basically those. There's one last little card I want to show you. It's right here. 1989 Upper Deck. 1989 Upper Deck, the first 100 cards, or it's really 99 cards, can be found with an R or a TM right next to the Upper Deck logo. Also, on their holo on the back, usually whenever you have the Upper Deck holo, the holo has like this little tiny orienting disc behind it, but the rare version is not. There is a version where it's just flat and plain, like the 1991 version. So, I think I showed them all to you. Oh, wait. 1988 Topps Big. They can be found with 1 dot, 2 dots on back. I think that is it. So, thank you guys for watching. This is just kind of a little tiny mini one. I'm probably going to be finding more variations in the future to show you guys. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later.